All right, here are the rules for multiplying fractions. If there are pairs, of numerator and denominators that share common factors, simplify first. Now you'll notice that in 5a and 5b, this is not the case, but I'll get to that in 11a and 31a. Now, incidentally, having a letter after the question number, that's because this question is slightly different from the actual question in the worksheet. All right, so here we go. Now let's take a look at 5a first. In this case, there is no numerator or denominator pairs that share common factors aside from 1. All right, so in this case with 5a, we simply just multiply the numerator and then multiply the denominator. So this looks like this. That's the same as 1 times 1 over 5 times 3. So that is the same as 1 over 15. All right. Similarly, in 5b, again, there are no denominator and numerator pairs that share a common factor. So this is really straightforward. So that's the same as saying 5 times 1 over 2 times 3. And that gives us 5 over 6. Now, moving on to 11a and the rest. Now, here is where you can find numerators and denominator pairs that share common factors. All right, so what do I mean by that? Let's take a look at 11a. All right, so 11a, you can see that I have a 3 in the numerator and a 3 in the denominator. All right, now they are both divisible by 3. So if I divide both of them by 3, each one will become 1. So I can cross them out and replace them by 1. I can cross the 3 out and replace that by 1. So what I do end up after this simplification is I have 1 times of 7 over 4 times of 1. And that gives us 4 over 7. All right, let's take a look at the next one, 31a. Now, here, this one is interesting. You can see that both 9 and 6 can be divided by 3. So if I divide 9 by 3, I end up with 3. If I divide 6 by 3, I'll end up with 2. And notice that 7 and 14, both numbers can be divided by 7. So if I divide 7 by 7, I end up with 1. If I divide 14 by 7, I end up with 2. So therefore, I end up with 3 times 1 over 2 times 2. And that leads us to 3 over 4. Okay, let's take a look at the next one. We've got 29a. Again, you can see in this case, 3 and 9 are both divisible by 3. So I can divide 3 by 3, giving me 1. I can divide 9 by 3, that gives me 3. Similarly, I can divide 10 by 10, which gives me 1. And I can divide 20 by 10, which gives me 2. So I end up with 1 times 1 over 2 times 3, which gives me 1 over 6. Now, there are instances like in 14a and 14b when you are multiplying a fraction and a whole number. Now, this is quite straightforward. If you see a whole number, all you have to do is put a fraction bar below it and put a 1 below it. So 2 is the same as 2 over 1. All right, so in this case, that becomes 1 times 2 over 3 times 1, and that gives me 2 over 3. Now, there are sometimes there are people who make mistakes by multiplying multiplying the whole number with both the numerator and denominator. Right? You can see that this does not quite make sense because if I'm just going to use a blue ink to show that this is incorrect. So what I mean is the student multiplies 1 with 2 and multiplies 3 with 2. Now I end up getting 2 over 6. But 2 over 6 is the same as 1 out of 3. Now this doesn't quite make sense because twice of 1/3 should give me 2/3, not 1/3. Okay, so this is wrong. It doesn't work that way. All right, so just to cement your understanding here, we have 2 over 3 times 2. Again, 2 becomes 2 over 1. And so therefore, when we multiply this together, I have 2 times 2 over 3 times 1, and that gives me 4 over 3.